Trump breaking news: despite the Her report, the 25th Amendment can't remove Biden. In light of the Her report's repeated portrayal of Biden as the elderly guy with a bad memory, Republican West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey has penned a letter to Vice President Kamala Harris, requesting her to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove President Biden from office, rather of recommending the president's prosecution. The Her report insulted him by implying that he is seriously impaired in his cognitive ability. Would the vice president genuinely see a letter from a state attorney general as an attempt to remove President Biden from office? Not at all. No provision of the 25th Amendment permits the removal of the president in its literal sense. When the president is unable to serve, the vice president can, at most, step in and be considered the acting president when the president refuses to carry out her or his responsibilities as addressed in Section 3. The vice president and a majority of the cabinet can declare the president unable to exercise the powers and duties of his office under Section 4 of the 25th Amendment. A majority declaration by the vice president and the cabinet does, in fact, transfer authority to the vice president, but not the office itself. There has been no change in the presidency. This vice president is merely acting president. The president can also announce his readiness to return to the post under Section 4. Just as he can under Section 3, however, Section 4 rejects the president's assurances. In contrast to Section 3, the president must persuade certain individuals that he is prepared to take office in Section 4. Just because the president says "I'm back" doesn't mean he actually is. For the next 4 days, the VP will continue to do double duty. By that point, the matter will have gone to Congress if the vice president and cabinet do not believe the president is prepared to return to work. A 2/3 vote in each chamber within 21 days would be required to prevent the president from returning. Meanwhile, the vice president continues in his role as acting president. However, in the event that anything else takes place, such as a vote of fewer than 2/3, the president assumes the presidency once again, and the vice president and cabinet members likely begin seeking new employment opportunities. The president can declare his return as many as he wants to force this procedural spectacle. So it's easy to envision a filibuster in which the vice president, cabinet, and Congress, all of whom are likely exhausted, eventually give in and allow the president to resume his duties. In other words, unlike resignation or an impeachment conviction, the 25th Amendment does not remove a president. Its true purpose, however, is to restore faith in the president, get him back into the White House, and instill a healthy dose of dread in anyone who could be thought of as abandoning him or her in the future. Would it be possible to appoint Kamala Harris as acting president under the 25th Amendment? Not at all. It is quite unlikely to occur. The first is that a state's wildlife commissioner, attorney general, or governor has no business telling Vice President Harris what to do. The federal government and the states are two distinct entities, each with its own sovereign power. Second, from a political standpoint, the Vice President of the Democratic Party has little incentive to win over West Virginians, a reliably red state, in presidential elections in the past. It went overwhelmingly for Trump in 2020. Third, the 25th Amendment is not the best approach for Kamala Harris to assume the president. Even if her plans are clandestine, its purpose is to serve as a stopgap measure. That's not the way to acquire a presidential library. Also, the guy she's trying to proclaim unfit appointed the cabinet. So even if Harris were a villain like Iago, she'd still need the support of most of the cabinet members. As the saying goes, dance with the one who brung ya. Therefore, it's likely that most cabinet members would choose Biden over Harris. Fifth, it's impossible to envision a contemporary Congress reaching 2/3 in both chambers on any measure, particularly one that would necessitate all Democrats betraying their president once Biden says ready. This is true even if the cabinet and VP decide to remove him. Therefore, regardless of how weak-willed Biden may have seemed in the Her report, he will not be removed from office, and Kamala Harris will not be acting president in his stead.